Hello, bonjour, and welcome to your new Alti Wine Exchange videos where we talk about and taste exceptional wines, collectible wines, bottles worth investing on for the years, if not decades to come. Today I'm going to tell you the story of a rare, sweet Riesling wine with a very rare pedigree and an incredible aging potential. It's also an incredibly limited production, so certainly a wine to watch, to invest on for the future. Staffelter Hof, the winery, is a family-run estate, a family-run company, and also a distillery located in the small town of Kröv, which is in the Bernkastel-Wittlich district of Germany. Pardon my German. Essentially, this is one of the most reputable areas for making Riesling wine in the whole world. Obviously in the whole of Germany, on the steep slopes of the Mosel River. So the Staffelter Hof name originally belonged to a wine-producing abbey. Like many old things in wine, it was made in an abbey. So that's a name that goes back as far as 862, and yes, that's over 1150 years ago. Therefore, we are talking here with one of the oldest companies in the whole world. After almost 1000 years in the possession of the abbey, the last courtman of the monastery estate, Peter Schneiders was his name, he bought the property from the French state in 1805, and from there he passed on the estate generation after generation for 7 generations in this case to Jan Matthias Klein, the current winemaker and owner, who took over from his father Gerd Klein back in 2005. So today, 4 generations of the Klein family, the grandfathers, the father, the sons, etc., take care of the small 9.5 hectares of vineyards, that's about 24 acres, with an absolute passion for making the best, absolutely best Rieslings that they can. I know you've seen the name of this wine. German names, it's the same for me, can be a little bit daunting. Essentially, Kröv Steffensberg Beerenauslese Riesling is the name of this wine. Yes, it is. Which name defines its origin and style? So let me run you through this. Basically, Kröv Steffensberg is the name of the vineyard the grapes for this wine were sourced from. As I was telling you, we are here in one of the most respected areas of the Mosel in Germany. And this very vineyard, the Steffensberg, is the best site on the whole of the winery's estate. So this is a Grand Cru site whose Riesling vines were planted around 42 years ago, so very old vines on a rare and perfect site for Riesling on grey Devon slate soil. This type of sweet wine is called Beerenauslese in Germany, which simply means that it's a berry selection wine. Indeed, grapes for making this wine aren't simply harvested like usual, cutting the grapes off the vines and throwing them in a bucket to bring back to the winery. Here the pickers only select the driest, most concentrated grapes, one berry at a time. Yes, you've heard this right, berry by berry, and these are very small berries on a 60% inclined slope vineyard. So that's just an incredibly hard job, but that's what it takes to make such wine. The berries that are selected must have been affected by what's called noble rot, which is a fungus that concentrates the sugars and the flavors. It essentially dries up the berries and brings this unique flavor profile to the wine, which is why it's so important and rare to have such a wine. Only some vintages allow this phenomenon to occur because you need very special climatic conditions with very dry sunny days and very cool nights to create those morning fogs over the river, allowing the fungus to develop. So because the berries that are picked to make this wine are so rare and small and tiny, only 105 liters of this wine were made in that vintage 2007. And this wine has only been made 5 times since 2007. That's less than 800 bottles in 12 years. That's how rare this type of wine is. But let's get digging further into it and let's get tasting. The smell of this wine is just incredible. It's both pungent and strikingly vibrant. It's got a lot of fruit, but it's also very, very elegant and subtle. It's actually quite hard to describe because it pulls on both opposites of the spectrum. It's both powerful yet delicate and fine. It throws fine notes of fresh apricot surrounded by aromas of tropical flowers, the elderflower and the lily. It really smells fresh and sweet, like fresh sweet grapes, but you also get the feeling that you're actually on the foggy slopes of the Mosel River, on those steep slopes, which is a very rare impression that I only get from this type of wine. It sort of transports you on this foggy morning by the side of the Mosel River. When you taste the wine, wow, you are certainly transported. Wow, what an incredible sensation. On the palate, yes, the wine is rather syrupy and oily. It is very concentrated after all, but it's also incredibly light. You don't really feel the sugars. It's not sticky, but rather light and aerial on your palate. Yet it delivers huge burst and a big explosion of ripe tropical characters on the back of your mouth, like dried pineapple and mango, lots of raisin flavors, but with this extremely elegant delivery. Yes, it's somewhat like tasting a concentrated juice of raisin that is fresh and light and zingy and acidic and vibrant. Again, it's really hard to describe. It's just so delightful, and there's just so much going on in here. It's just something really unique to taste, something only a wine of that caliber, grown on those exceptional conditions, on those cold, steep slopes, on that slate perfect terroir, on those perfect climatic conditions, on certain vintages. Only a wine of this can deliver those flavor sensations. Really, you don't taste these kind of wines every day, and even I don't taste these kind of wines every day. And that's exactly why these Mosel Beerenauslese Riesling's wines are so demanded and so appreciated around the world. As for aging potential, well, this is a 12-year-old wine already, but it doesn't really taste or feel like it's evolved at all. It's still very fresh and fruity and vibrant. It still tastes like it's out of the press and just fermented. So I wouldn't be surprised if this wine was really good, still really good in 40 years to come. This is a wine that is built to defy time. If anything, I think it will only be more complex, more refined, more profound, deeper, more enjoyable to taste. And I'll leave you on that very enthusiastic note. I've been stunned and so surprised. I mean, I know these wines are fantastic, but this is an absolutely beautiful example. I will leave you on this very enthusiastic note about this wine, and I will see you soon in the wonderful world of fine and rare wine investment. Au revoir. Bye bye.